Fox News alert, Elon Musk highlighting documents on Twitter's censorship of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Newly released details from journalist Matt Taibbi, who Musk outsourced the findings to, tweeted, "The decision was made at the highest levels of the company, but without the knowledge of CEO Jack Dorsey." He was asleep at the wheel. He continues, "They just freelanced it," is how one former employee characterized the decision. Hacking was the excuse, but within a few hours, pretty much everyone realized that wasn't going to hold, the excuse of hacking, but no one had the guts to reverse it. Here to react, Compact Magazine founder and editor who worked at the New York Post, Sohrab Ahmari. Sohrab, thanks for being here. As someone who was there at the Post and saw this suppression, your reaction to what Elon Musk is releasing?
Well, it's just a kind of cold anger, to be honest. Cold anger mainly at my fellow members of the media, who at the time all lined up behind the censorship. Natasha Bertrand of Politico calling it disinformation. NPR saying we won't even touch it because this isn't a real story. And all of this was based on this excuse that this was hacked material. And what these set of documents now make clear is that even inside Twitter, within a matter of hours, they knew the hacked material excuse wasn't going to hold up, and yet they insisted on it. And for weeks, they suspended the New York Post Twitter account, the oldest continuously published daily newspaper founded by Alexander Hamilton, one of our founding fathers. That's how they treated it, and the rest of the media lined up behind essentially this vast concentration of corporate and technological power and censorship.
So, Rob, that's a really interesting point. So is it your belief that because of the actions Twitter took against the New York Post, the other media outlets had a rationalization or a justification to effectively ignore the story as well? Was Twitter the leader on that?
I can't place which one of them acted as the leader. It's like this complex of institutions that included Twitter and Facebook. We shouldn't forget Facebook's role.
Yeah.
It included the mainstream center-left media, NPR, Politico, et cetera, and it also included a bunch of former deep state national security types who falsely characterized this as Russian disinformation, and they all sort of worked together to suppress this story, and then, as you said, to legitimate the suppression afterward, knowing ultimately that this was going to hold up and that there was no hacking involved in this.
You knew what it was from the beginning, by the way. Here's what you tweeted on October 14, 2020. This is worth looking at. "This is a big tech information coup. This is a digital civil war. I, an editor at the New York Post, one of the nation's largest papers by circulation, can't post one of our own stories that details corruption by a major party presidential candidate, Biden." So you knew what it was from the beginning. You guys had done the research as a credible journalist outlet, and yet you saw it suppressed. Real quick, what should people be taking away from this morning, frustrated at what was done to them?
Well, I should say I was the opinion editor, so I wasn't involved in reporting it, but I was reacting it as someone who worked there at the time. But very quickly, I think the important thing is we need big tech reform. I like Elon Musk, I like what he's doing, but we can't rely on one billionaire's goodwill. We need to rein in these companies and not allow them to act like publishers and censoring materials while not having any of the traditional publishers' liabilities. That's what our law allows right now, and we need something more like what Justice Clarence Thomas has called common carrier. Your landline phone company can't discriminate against you based on your political views. Big tech should be the same.
Smart guy. Sohrab Ahmari, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.